analysis for signals. So I think this is the correct moment to uh, look at the software. And it's a very easy to use software. You don't, if you know the signal design process, then you should not have any problems in using the software. Okay, they are using the same terms and everything is the same. Okay, yeah, one thing which I think I forgot to mention, but Nadine mentioned it about the license number and password. It is given in the text file when you download the software. It is there in the text file. It is given. Okay, so yeah, this was what I missed. But anyways, okay, you are smart people. So even without my help, I think you will do fine. Okay, so once you install the software, okay, it will be you can see it in the program files. Okay, so this is the icon, or you can search for Sidra intersection 8, or maybe it will, I don't know, is it giving a link at the, yeah, so there's a link at the desktop as well. You can see it here. Okay, you double click on it, it will open. Okay, for some reason all traffic related softwares take some time to open. Okay, so you have to wait a couple of seconds. Now you can see there are different types of analysis which you can do. Okay, one thing which it asks when you are installing the software is the unit system. Okay, so it has standard right, standard left, SCM right, sorry, SCM metric, SCM some other. Okay, so SCM, obviously we are following the SCM methodology, highway capacity manual methodology. So you should select one of those. Okay, so when you select one of those, the driving side is already fixed, because SCM means you are driving on the right hand side of the road. Okay, SCM means you are driving on the right hand side of the road. You can also select standard right as well. That also means the same thing. Okay, uh, so you go for SCM, and then within SCM you will see they have metric system and the feed system as well. Okay, so now it depends upon you whether you want to use everything in the metric system or the feed system. The obviously the software allows it. The only thing is that you have to look at how you want to keep your data. Okay, once you have selected it there, you can later on change it from the settings. Okay, so you can see you go to the settings tab and you can see all the options which I was talking about here. Okay, standard right, standard left, New Zealand, I don't know. So US SCM metric, US SCM customary. Customary means feed system, metric means uh, meters. Okay, but in both of them they are following the SCM methodology. Okay, so go with one of these two. Okay, depending upon the units of your measurements. Okay, then if you want to change some settings for the output report, for the input report, okay, what are the things you want? Okay, you can change it. Okay, what graphical displays you want? Okay, if you want to compare with graphs between different directions and so on, you can check it from here and it will show you. Obviously you have to run the analysis. Okay, I'm just telling you the settings. So once you run the analysis, then it will tell you what are the things you can see. Okay, anyways, just keep in mind we will not go in details. You can spend as much time as you want with this software. You can try different things. Okay, but I'm going straight to the point, which is how to analyze or design the signal. Okay, so you can do route analysis, you can do network analysis. Okay, so route means you will have from one place to the other place a series of signals. Network means again a network of signals. Okay, but that may be not along a particular route. They can be parallel to each other, crossing each other, whatever. Okay, but you can see here route and network analysis are not shown here. Okay, there are like no option is shown here. Why? Because there are no sites. Okay, so once you input any sites, so first of all, the first thing you have to do is input sites, and then you want to do network analysis, then you go and add the sites here. Okay, you will add the sites which you have. So first of all, you have to add the individual sites of your route or the individual sites of your network. And when I say sites, I'm talking about one of these things. Okay, signals, roundabouts, stop signs, pedestrian signals. Okay, pedestrian crossings. Okay, interchanges. Okay, so interchanges are, what are interchanges, by the way? What is an interchange? Anyone?
Ramps.
Ramps, yes. Okay, so you can see here I have run one one site analysis. So when I go to the network, it is showing me the option that I can add this site to the network. Okay, so obviously when you go to add, it will show you all the sites which I have already added here. Okay, so first of all, you need to add the sites. Now we are going to add the signals, right? We are going to add the signals. So you go here and you add the signal. Okay, add get intersection means a signal. You can also add pedestrian signal or a ramp signal as well. Okay, single point interchange. Okay, it's a signal where different ramps are meeting with each other. Okay, so we are adding add get intersection. Okay, so I've already added it, and I will go through the analysis. Okay, so you see on the left hand side, you see different options. Okay, once you add the site name is shown here. Okay, you can change the site name from here or from some other options as well. I will show you. So if you want to name the site, okay, so do name the site, it will be better. Okay, so put a name of your site, okay, according to its location, and then you see this first section, site input. When you enter the site, it will not give you anything in the site output. Since I have already analyzed the site, so it's giving me the output option as well. Okay, but when you will do it, you will not have any of these. Sorry, you will not have any of these options in the site output. You will not see anything. Okay, then you can see here the option for input report as well. When you click on it, okay, so you have to select the site from here, then you click on the input report. It will give you the input report of the site. Input report includes basically a summary of everything which you have given to the software in these options. Okay, so in the site input options, you see in the site input section, you see different options. Okay, so whatever you have input in these options, it will show you in this form here. Okay, in the form of tables, basically in the form of tables. Okay, now when I am going through the options, you will start to understand what are they showing here. Okay, but this is how you can do it. And if you want to print it, okay, so you go to the print option. Okay, and obviously if you send it to OneNote, it will if you have a printer connected to your laptop, okay, you can select that printer and print it directly. Okay, if you will go somewhere else, you will go to some other system in which this software is not installed, then you can print it as PDF, or you can print it as OneNote file. Okay, and OneNote means that it will be in the form of a picture. Okay, those of you who already use OneNote would know that. Okay, and if you print it as PDF, it will print as PDF. Okay, now what is it printing? It is printing the thing which is shown here. Okay, for example, if I print this one, so you see it is printing the file which is shown on the right hand side of the window. Okay, so basically this. So whatever is shown here, it will print that. Okay, whatever is shown here, it will print that. Okay, so if you go to, for example, when you generate the output, when you come here, so you can see here now it is showing this thing. So if I go to the print option and I print it, whatever is shown here will be printed as PDF or in the printer or whatever. Okay, if I click on this one, so now it is showing me the intersection summary. Okay, so if I go for the print option, it will give me the intersection summary. Okay, this thing will be printed. So whatever the software is showing you on the right hand side of the window will go to the print option. Okay, as I said, if you want, I don't know, these are tables. I haven't tried copying and pasting them. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so you can you know, if you want, you can generate you can type your own tables if you want. Anyways, okay, coming back to the site input section. Again, I will talk about the things which you are supposed to have in your project. Okay, so first of all, you click on the intersection. Okay, so you can see this is an intersection. Again, you can see that you can name the site here. You can put the name of the site. Okay, you can put an ID for the site. Okay, you can mention a category for the site. Okay, if you are having different sites, okay, then what category of site is it? 3 leg, 4 leg, something like this. Okay, if you want. Now by default, it is taken as a 4 leg intersection. You can see it here. What color is it? What do you call this? This is I'm not so good with the name of the color. Which color is this?
Beige.
Beige.
Yeah.
Beige. Okay. Yeah, I knew it will come from a girl. Anyways, so beige color, right? So beige color legs means these legs exist. Okay. White color means they don't exist. Okay. And the one in the red color means this one exists and it is selected. This one exists and it is selected. So in your case, you have a 3 leg intersection, right? You have a 3 leg intersection. So I have to get rid of one of these legs. Okay, to make it into 3 leg, I have to get rid of one of these legs. So for example, I want to get rid of this one, north one. Okay, so I select the north one. So now you can see now it has become red. Okay, so then you go here to leg geometry, this option, leg geometry, and you say no leg. So it will remove the leg. Okay, so now you can still see it in pink color. Okay, so it is still selected, but it is not part of the intersection. Okay, so when it is in red color, that means the leg is selected and it is part of the intersection. If it is in pink color, that means it is not. It is selected, but it's not part of the intersection. Okay, and beige means not selected but part of the intersection, and white means not part of the intersection and not selected. Okay, now similarly, if you can, like I have selected 3 legs which are perpendicular to each other, right? So for example, in your case, let's say this leg is tilted. Okay, the third leg is tilted. So instead of having this leg in the east direction, you want to have it in this direction. Okay, so you come here, go to this option. Now then you have, do you have a 2-way or 1-way? Okay, 1-way approach. Okay, 1-way exit. 1-way exit is like a ramp. 1-way exit is like a ramp, and 1-way approach is a proper road. Okay, so I think you would have 1-way approach, or sorry, 2-way. 2-way means 2-way. Okay, there is no classification in 2-way, but 1-way can be a 1-way ramp, which will be 1-way exit, or it can be a 1-way approach, will be like a 1-way road. Okay, so I think in your cases you will have 2-way roads, right? So you can make it into a 2-way road. Okay. But obviously then I said I don't want the east leg, so I have to select the east leg, and here I would say no leg. Okay, so the intersection will be like this. Okay, so I will keep the east leg for the time being. This doesn't look good. Okay, one more thing which you can do is go to each leg and put the name of the road. Put the name of the road. Okay. Exit distance, let the program calculate it. Approach distance, distance from the previous intersection. Okay, if you want to put the exit distance as well, put the exit distance. Okay, so exit distance will be distance to the next intersection. Okay, so approach distance is the distance to the from the previous intersection. Exit distance is the distance to the next intersection. Okay, let me do one thing here. Anyways, okay, so put the name of the road, select the approaches you want to have. Okay, and if you don't want an approach, then you go here, leg geometry, and then you say no leg. Okay, and then if you want to add it, then select the leg, leg you want to add, come here, either make it two-way or one-way approach or one-way exit, and this leg will be added. Okay, and you put the name of the road and the approach distance and the exit distance. Okay, approach distance, as I said, distance from the previous intersection. Okay, so if this is your intersection and we are going in this direction, okay, so distance from here to any intersection on this side, this will be the approach distance. Okay, and exit distance will be to any intersection on this side. So this one is approach distance and this one is exit distance. Okay, so obviously you can look at it from Google Map or something, right? Or if you want, you can drive over the segment and look at the distance meter of your car, right? Area type factor, I think we discussed about area type in our classes. So if it is CBD, okay, then you have a factor which is given in the slides. You can put that factor over here. And if it is not CBD, then for any other area type, you will keep it as 1. Okay, so area type, you like most of you may not have to change it, right? CBD means Central Business District. Okay. Then you go for movement definition, whatever. Yeah, okay, one more thing. Yeah, so what you can see here, I may have made some changes on the site. Okay, so because I told you I've already run the analysis. I ran the analysis for the first time. Okay, just for the sake of practice. Now I have made some changes on the site. So you can see the output is gone. See here, the output is gone. So I should have saved the file with some other name before making the changes. This is my mistake, right? But whenever you make the changes in the file and the output was generated, that output will be gone. Okay, that output will be gone. So whenever you change anything on the site, okay, and you want to generate the output again, you do this and then you process. Okay, so you see this button process over here below the file tab. This button is for processing the site. So whatever options you have selected will process the site according to that. Okay, so it will generate the output again. So in the output section, you will see the files again. Okay, for example, now I made a change. Now I will process it. Okay, so now you can see the output section is filled again. See, the output section is filled again. Now it is filled with the new data. Okay, the data which I changed. Okay, so the intersection by intersection, the previous one was 4 leg. I changed it to 3 leg. So this new output will be for the 3 leg intersection. Okay, if you want to make any changes, you can add another site over here. Okay, I think there's an option to there was an option to clone. Yeah. Okay, so for example, I want to have the same site but make some changes in it. Okay, so and I want to keep it in the same file, so I will select the site from here and I will clone it. Okay, so see here now, it's the same site. It's the same site, site 1, but it is unprocessed for the time being. You want to process it, you can process it. Okay, so in the same file you can have multiple sites. Okay, so you can see site 1 is with the output files, and site 1 copy is without the output file because it is unprocessed yet. Okay, so for example, you want to try different options. Okay, but you don't want to input the data from the scratch every time, so you make different copies of the same file, of the same site, not the file, of the same site. So you keep on making copies, and you can try different options in each copy, and then you can process and you can see, compare the results and so on. Okay, time being, I don't want it. Okay, so you do the intersection geometry, then you will assign movement definitions. Okay, so movement definitions, basically you are assigning the type of vehicles you want to add in the for each movement, the type of vehicle you want to add for each movement. Okay, so there are two tabs here. Okay, one for movement classes, the other one for origin destination. Okay, now for example, for a particular movement you don't want to have heavy vehicles. Okay, you come here, view display. Okay, and then you can see the movements from here. Okay, you can name the movements, you can put the number to the movement. Okay, which movement do you want, which movement do you want, you don't want. Okay, you can increase the size. The movements cannot be selected from here. This is just for naming of the movements. Okay, so this movement is numbered as 2, this movement is numbered as 12, this pedestrian movement is numbered as 4p, and so on. Okay, now it's a 3-leg intersection, so you can see here from this particular side left turning is not allowed, right? Left turning is not allowed. Why? Because there is no side here. Okay, so once you have selected the geometry of the intersection, some of the movements from here will disappear. Some of the movements from here will disappear. Okay, but anyways, so in view display you go for movement IDs. Okay, and then you can put the ID of the movement which you want. Okay, and you can zoom in. So I don't want to code this movement as 2, I want to code it as 4, so I can change it. Okay, if you want. Okay, so you can change the movement IDs and so on. And you can change what type of vehicles to be included in your analysis. Okay, we want light vehicles, we want heavy vehicles. Okay, both of them. Okay, if you want to specify a specific type of vehicle, you can do it from here. Okay, and again, you want to change its settings, go to setting, you can change the type of vehicles and everything. Okay, you can do it. But anyways, here we are just talking about light vehicles and heavy vehicles. So two types of vehicles will be added for each movement, light vehicle and heavy vehicle. Okay, then you come here, origin destination movements. So this was movement classes, then you come here, origin destination movements. Okay, so in origin destination movement, you go to each leg, so you have to select each leg from here, and you have to specify which movements are possible and which movements are not possible. And again, you can change the movement ID from here as well. You can see here, you can change the movement ID. Okay, now here you can see U-turns are generally not allowed. You can see all U-turns are generally blocked. Okay, so let me just open one of the U-turns as well. Okay, just to be different from what they are doing. Okay, so this approach, you can see it has U-turn, it has left turn, and it has through movement, but it doesn't have right turn, because right turning there is no side here, there is no approach here. Okay, So you select each leg, you select each approach, and you select which movements you want to allow, and you can change their IDs as well. Okay, and if you want to have a graphical display, again come to view display movement IDs. Okay, so whatever you are changing here, you want to see it in this display, you can do. Okay, then you come to lane geometry. So again, now it is taking time to get rid of the output, right? So you can see whenever I change something, the output is gone. Okay, so if you are changing something after you generated the output, you don't want to input the data again, or you want to keep the previous data as well, you clone the site. Okay, you clone the site. Okay, then lane geometry. So you select each approach from here. Okay, then whenever you select the approach, it will show you the number of lanes here. Okay, so you can add or you can add approach lane. APP means approach lane. You can add exit lane. Exit lane is basically the opposite direction. Okay, this direction. So if I add an exit lane, it should be on this direction. So select any lane from this direction, then add an exit lane over here. If you are adding an exit lane on the right hand side of the road, it will not make any sense, right? Exit lane means it is receiving the flow from the other side. Okay, so exit lane cannot be on the right hand side of the road, right? It can be only the approach lane. Okay, the right hand side road, the road is for coming into the intersection, right? So exit lane is a lane which is receiving the flow from the intersection. Okay, so if you are adding or subtracting the exit lane, then it should be from the left hand side of the road. Okay, so how do I add the lane? For example, I want to make the exit lane as 3. I want to have 3 exit lanes. So you select any lane from here. Now if you want to add on the right hand side of this lane, you can see with the exit lane, I have 2 arrows here. This one is for adding the lane towards the right hand side. This one is for adding the lane towards the left hand side. Okay, so I click on this one, you can see one lane is added towards the left hand side. Okay, now this is an exit lane. Okay, I want to add an approach lane, for example. So again, you come to this side and then you select the lane beside which you want to enter your other lane. Okay, so for example, I have selected the middle lane. Now if I want to add towards the right hand side of this lane, I will click on the right hand side arrow. You can see one lane is added to the right hand side. Okay, then you select each lane from here. Okay, you can do one more thing. This is an island, traffic island between the two approaches. Okay, you can put its width here, front width, back width. Okay, so what can happen, you may have an island like this at the intersection. You may see sometimes the island is like this, and here you have a short lane for turning, right? So this one will be the front width and this one will be the back width. Okay, and in which style you want to show it on the diagram. Okay, you can select solid, hashed. Okay, this is just a method of showing. Okay, you want to delete a lane or an island or whatever, approach lane, exit lane, you select that lane. For example, I want to delete this lane, I will select it and I will delete from here. Okay, you want to make an island, for example, between the left hand side lane and the right hand side lane. Okay, you can add an island. Okay, so select this lane, I want an island towards its left hand side, so I will again strip island. You can see both options are there, strip island, both options are there. Okay, right hand side to adding towards the right hand side or the left hand side. I'm adding towards the left hand side. Okay, and then again you provide back width and the front width. Okay, if the island, for example, when you are putting an island between two approaches, the width is normally the same. Okay, only the central median changes its width, but there's the median or the island between the two lanes of the same side, it has the same width. Okay, so in that case, the front and the back width will be the same. Okay, okay. Anyways, if I want to delete it, I will delete it. Okay. Now for each lane, you have to define the lane type. Okay. So lane type, it can be a normal lane, okay, or it can be a slip or bypass lane. Okay. Now what is a slip or bypass lane? Okay, for example, this is your road. Okay, so if you have a slip lane for left turning, it will be something like this. Okay, so you come here and this is a slip lane for the right turn. Okay, same thing for the left turning as well. Okay, now for the left turning, normally we don't have slip lanes. Normally for the left turning, we don't have slip lanes. Okay, you want to control this lane with a signal, or you want to make it continuous. So obviously in our case, the right turning is continuous, right? The right turning is continuous. Lane length, if it's a normal lane, then the length will go to okay, now you can see here I'm selecting a right turning lane here. Okay, so you can see the two options, normal and slip lane. If I select the left turning lane from here, the options will be slightly different. Normal, short lane. Okay, so for left turning, you will not see a slip lane, you will see a short lane. So short lane, you can see it in the figure as well. So if I make it normal, what happened? The lane is continuous now, right? The lane is continuous. Okay, if I make it okay, so I can have a short lane as well. Okay, so now what has happened with the short lane? Now the lane is starting from here. See, the lane is starting from here. So when I make it full length, this full length. Okay, when I make it short lane, the lane starts near the intersection. Okay, so you must have seen at many intersections there is an extra lane for left turning which is only near the intersection. So then you will name it as short lane. You will put it as short lane. Okay, you have to put the lane width. So you have to select each lane and you have to put its lane width. Okay, gradient, I don't know whether we can. I don't think we have measured the gradient. Okay, so just keep it 0%, no problem. Lane length, if it is a normal lane, a full length lane, then the length of the lane will be to the last intersection, right? This distance, approach distance. So approach distance will be the length of the lane. Okay, if it's a short lane, then it will be from here to here, right? From where the lane started. Okay, so then you will give the lane length as such. Okay, so lane length for normal lane, full length lane, it is approach distance. If it is a short lane, then it is the actual the actual distance of the lane. Okay, the actual length of the lane. Okay, then you come here, you assign which movements are possible from the lane. So for example, from this lane, right turning is possible, you can see right turning. Okay, and for which vehicles? Okay, you want to only allow it for the light vehicles, you don't want to allow heavy vehicles, deselect it. Okay, so heavy vehicles will not be allowed from this lane. Okay, you want to right and left both to be allowed from this lane, make it like this. So you can see here. Okay, so from the lane disciplines, you change which movements you want to allow and which vehicles you want to allow. Okay, and then you come to lane data, saturation flow rate. If you want to enter saturation flow rate, you can do it. Saturation speed, okay, the speed at saturation flow rate, you want to enter it, you can do it. Okay, capacity adjustments, you want to enter any capacity adjustments, like you've already collected the factors, you want to add it. If there are buses stopping here available, you want to input it. Okay, so you will input the number of buses stopping per hour. Same thing for parking, you want to input parking maneuvers. If there's a parking lane beside the lane, okay, again you have to select the lane for which you are entering this data. Okay, so for example, if I enter the data for this middle lane, and I'm saying there's parking available and there's buses available, I'm wrong, right? I'm wrong. You cannot have buses stopping in the middle lane, the parking in the middle. Okay, so then I'm wrong. Okay, so these things must be taken. You must be careful about these. Obviously, for your project, you haven't collected this data, so you don't have to go there. Allocated U movement. Okay, now you see here, I selected for the east direction. I also allowed the U-turning movement. Okay, but if you go to lane disciplines, U-turning is not assigned to any lane. So I will select this lane from here and I will assign the U-turn from this lane. Okay, but U-turn only for the light vehicles. Heavy vehicles cannot make a U-turn. Okay, so whenever you make such a mistake, the software will give you the error message. Whenever you make such a mistake that you have forgotten a movement, it will give you an error message. Okay, so now it will work. Okay, then you go to lane movements. So every time you make a change, you have to wait. With a new site, it will take less time. With a new site, it takes less time. Okay, flow proportions. So this is about the shared lane. Okay, so for example, for left turning, I have two lanes, right? For left turning, I have two lanes. So how much percentage of flow is allowed from each lane? You have to input from here. So again, you select the approach. Okay, then you see for left turning there are two lanes. For example, from this lane I will have let's say 60% of left turning, and from this lane I will have the remaining is 40%, right? Okay, so you for each lane, then you can pick the percentage of vehicles you want to allow from each lane. Okay, so how much for right turning will be allowed from lane 1 and lane 2, how much of left turning will be allowed from lane 1 and lane 2. Obviously, if you have only one lane, let me put the default. Okay. If you have only one lane, okay, then obviously all 100% will be gone to that lane. Okay, similarly, you can define the percentages for light vehicles and heavy vehicles differently as well. Okay, so let's say these percentages are for light vehicles, but for heavy vehicles I want to change it. Obviously I did not assign any heavy vehicle to this lane, right? Okay, so whenever you do not assign any vehicle from the previous option, it will be removed from here. It will be removed from here. Okay, so all movement classes means this percentage will be applied to light vehicles and heavy vehicles both. If you want to apply it for a particular movement, you can do it. Okay, blockage calibration, you don't want this option. Okay, so I'll just okay from here. Pedestrian data, you want to enter pedestrian data, you can do it, but we haven't got pedestrian data, right? Okay, our time is over, so I will take some time tomorrow as well because I have to explain the phasing and these things as well. Okay, so I will continue tomorrow inshallah. Okay, now if you have any questions, you can ask me. Are there any questions?